At the head, I'm weak, not dead, she sweet, I guess she confess, she thinking less, not drinking less. Bathroom says, best it gets, spontaneous, our stereotype. Put to rest tonight. Imagine, believe, and achieve, it works. Skyline as a rise like fireworks.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of After the Storm, your Oklahoma City post Thunder game analysis show. The Thunder, of course, falling to the Hawks tonight. It was very frustrating to watch our team because Ace. The Thunder falling, of course, tonight 132, 130, 137, 132. Baby, I got to do the show. I'll talk to you in a minute, okay? Sorry. My big fat boy is just here trying to get some love. I'm sorry. You know I've got to do the show. I'll give you love. Go get your ball and I'll throw it. But anyway, the Thunder, of course, now falling to 23 and 25. The Atlanta Hawks are now improved to 25 and 24. The Thunder have now dropped to 11th, which is it's just crazy because there's a log jam between everybody. The Lakers have 26 losses. The Thunder have 25. Lakers are getting ready to have more than that because I think they're going to lose again tonight to the San Antonio Spurs, even though AD is back tonight. And then after we do this storm, after I do the live stream tonight, we'll go ahead and watch the rest of that game. So tomorrow on the Unpopular Hour, I can talk about what happened to the Lakers tonight at San Antonio, or the San Antonio Spurs tonight. So we shall see what's going to happen with that. I'm a little frustrated at everything. So I want to say this right now. If you have any questions, we have something new. We have a Skype text. You can Skype us. Text us now. If you want to have your name mentioned, you have to say who you are, because if you text me and you just have your number which pops up, then I won't know who you are. So you can go ahead and ask your question, put your name in there, and then I will answer your question and say who you are. So the number is 405-551-8300 for the game. My guy Drew Henthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com. If you haven't checked Drew out and gone to HuskerDrewPicks.com to look at his predictions, he's on fire. And of course, he's saying the Hawks are a bad matchup for OKC. I agree with that 100%. It's just so hard for the Thunder because we're so small, and when I go over the stats, you'll see they just dominated us inside. And we had a great three-point shooting night. We did great inside as much as we can, but I mean, you know, when you're shooting free throws and you can't get your own rebound, then, of course, Delonte Murray had a great block on SGA down underneath the basket, but SGA was too far underneath, and normally he's not that far underneath the basket at the end of the game, but they did what they had to do, and we fouled them, and they hit their free throws to win 137-132. But once again, the Thunder are a young team. We're trying to figure out who we are, how to win games, and for you who are familiar with different sports, if you follow sports, you know the biggest issue is how do I get my team to win games, and it's just very, very frustrating for us because of the simple fact that for me, the frustrating part for me is just going, okay, here we are. We have a chance to win some games. We have a chance to do some things, but it's really hard because we're just young, and you just got to go through this painful process that we're going through right now. And the main difference between us and I think and Atlanta is they're just way more athletic than we are. They're just so much bigger and so much more athletic inside than we are at the Thunder. And those are things that Sam Presti is going to have to adjust or address. I mean, we've got to get shooters, and we've got to get bigger. I mean, because we are fantastic 6'7", 6'5", 6'6" to 6'9". We're loaded with that, but we need to be, 6'10", 6'11", athletic, that can block shots, that can make moves, that can dominate inside. And another thing, I don't think we took advantage of Trae Young enough tonight. But that being said, Trey had a tremendous game in what he was doing, and it was a great shootout between he and SGA. So that being said, here were my uh, keys to the game. And remember, if you watch, these are not keys that I come up with after I watch the game. If you see my show, The Unpopular Hour, uh, that I do every afternoon, you'll see that what I do is it's all about me giving out the scores and me uh, telling the true story of what's going on with the Thunder and what we're doing. So here are my keys to the game. We got to get off to a good start, which we did. Keep Trey out of the lane, which we did for a little bit, but he's just, dude, his court vision is just ridiculous. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous uh, in the things that he does. He's just unbelievable. Just watching him move, all the things he can do, his vision, seeing people, the passes that he made tonight. Then of course he just taking us off the dribble left and right, especially at the end of the half to close it out. So, but anyway, that was my thing. Keep Trey out of the lane, which we did not do. Play within ourselves, which we did. Get off to a good start, which we did. And limit their open looks, which we did. So, what happened? If we did 3 out of those 4 things, the problem is we could not keep Trey out of the lane. And when you allow a player of his magnitude to penetrate, kick out, to make shots over and over and over, especially under pressure, there's just not a lot you can do for that. So, but anyway, like I said, I'm excited to see what the Thunder have in store. We are still at 23 wins, and remember, the over and under for the Thunder this year was 23 and a half, and we're already there. What is it, 48 games into it right now? So, the Thunder are a little over halfway through. So I do believe that we're going to get, for sure, at my pick of 31 to 33 games, and possibly at if we're playing really, really well, my prediction of 40 games. So people thought I was crazy, but I thought that if Thunder continue to play the way they were, especially after watching them last year at the end of the year, I just saw something click between SGA and Giddy, and then Dort being able to do some things. I just saw something, and you could just see that SGA and Josh kind of figured out what we need to do. So my guy Drew Hinthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com just sent me a thing and said Atlanta will be the 5 or 6 seed. He's higher on Atlanta than I am. I've said that previously. If you've watched our show, The Unpopular Hour, I'm not as high on him or as Atlanta as Drew is. But we're going to do, of course, our picks, our NBA power rankings next week. We missed Drew this week, so we'll be there Monday or Tuesday, or probably Tuesday, to do our NBA power rankings based on what happened this week. So, but anyway, the Thunder started out with SGA, Josh, Dort, J-Dub, and K-Will. I kind of liked what that starting lineup looked like. The Thunder got off to an early start, doing great on the defensive end, getting out in transition. So I like what the Thunder were doing. I liked how we were moving and doing all the little things that we needed to do. Love that by what the Thunder were doing. And then Trey made a couple passes, and one I went, Trey's court vision is crazy. He made a pass, and Randy Wright, my guy, was sitting between Randy Wright and of YNB and Mark Long of SRB. And so I'm watching it, we all looked at each other like, wow, that was sick, Trey. He was really sick. So anyway, Thunder got off to an early start, but we're up 24-20 with 5 minutes to go. And then all of a sudden here he inserts SGA man Joe, inserts Joe, Trey Man to the starting lineup for Dort and Josh. And at that point, we're up 24-20. And then, of course, they make a run really quick and get the score to 28-27. And then all of a sudden he has SGA Man, Dort, Joe, and Muscala in the game. And, I'm looking at our team and I'm going, at the end of the game or into the first quarter, I'm just like, J-Dub, what are you doing? Everybody in the gym screaming, pass the ball to SGA, because you could see that those last 8 seconds, he's dribbling. He doesn't know what to do. He's just out there, and then, of course, ends up attacking the basket, shooting the air ball. And we're like, bro, just come over to SGA, give him the ball. SGA is sitting over there like, here I am, give me the ball. And he's dribbling. I don't know what the hell he was doing. I don't know if he's feeling himself and thinking he can play or not. I don't know what that was, but that was a horrible sequence at the end of the first quarter, which we needed. But the Thunder was still up 43-39. The Hawks were 3 for 10 from three. So what did we do? We did not give them a good open looks. We got out there on them. They were shooting 57% from the field, which I really liked what I saw from the Thunder's defensive side. 20 pips, which are my favorite stat, points in the paint. 4 turnovers. Oklahoma City, 5 bench points for the Hawks. Oklahoma City, on the other hand, 6 for 10 from 3, which that was fantastic. We were 4 for 5 at one point, and we're just looking at each other like, are you serious now? We're going to have one of those kind of nights. Knew it wasn't going to sustain that sort of sharp shooting, but at the same time, Thunder were really on fire, taking advantage of those short shots, wide open, knocking down the shots. And like I've said, I don't mind us shooting threes as long as we're at the 3-point line and it's wide open. Hey, take them all day long. I mean, you got to shoot that. And if you miss a couple, then just take a couple dribbles or one dribble, pull up and shoot a mid-range, get your rhythm, or go to the line, get some. And that's what Trey does. And he'll go to the line, he'll miss some shots, he'll go to the line, get his rhythm from the free throw line, and come out and then start shooting threes again, which is what he basically did tonight. 69% from the field, 7 rebounds, 24 pips in the paint for the Thunder versus 20 for them. Only 3 turnovers. Liked our turnover and what we've been doing lately, taking care of the basketball. That's huge. If you want to win and beat the better teams, you have to take care of the basketball. You can't do that, but you can't get dominated in the paint. But anyway, we were up by 4, rebounds 12-7. That's why we were winning, and you can see as this goes on, you can see how that points in the paint, rebounds will change. We outscored the Hawks 11-5 with bench scoring simply because of what we were doing and what we were offering as far as our talent and what we were able to establish once Isaiah Joe came in the game and knocked down some shots. And like I said, as long as he's doing those, hey, I'm fantastic. I'm good with what he's doing. So start the second quarter. You've got Josh, Baisley, Jang, Man, and J-Dub. And once again, my guy, the commander, Randy Wright, and Mark, we just looked at each other like, I'm sorry, what are you doing right now? What? Mark told me to be nice as far as beating up the coach and the different things he's doing. And I understand you can only work with what you're working with. I get that. But you're starting Baisley and Jang. I mean, Jang hadn't played he barely played the other night. I mean, he hadn't played, and basically, we know there's not one of us, or not one of you can look at me and legitimately tell him he is somebody we need to keep and have on the floor. He's just not it. And I like the guy. He seems like a nice kid, but yeah, no. Anyway, our shot selection was horrible. And it was just frustrating. It was just frustrating to watch us play. So they go on a run, clearly, obviously. So it is 56-54 with 5:57 to go. So that meant they outscored us right there. 39 outscored us 15-7. 15-7 run. So we're sitting there looking like, okay, Trey is ready to come in at the 7-minute mark. This is 5:57. He's ready to come in, and they're still scoring on us. And we're looking like, okay, their best player's getting ready to come in. You're not going to put in SGA. You're not going to put in SGA. And the reason why I'm making this point is because you'll see what the Hawks did later in the fourth quarter, okay? So this is the second quarter, and this is something I've been biting on and been talking about forever with this coach. And as my good friend Nimoy Jones calls him, Eminem, the minutes manager. He is a great manager of minutes, but managing the game is not his strong set. It's just not. And I'm sorry, and I understand the Thunder we're not necessarily trying to spend money. And at that particular time, with COVID and all that, we got the best possible deal we could get. Bring up the G League coach. We're trying to get draft picks. I get all that. But now that you're trying to win, and the players have said, "Look, we want to win. We're not the Houston Rockets. We're not trying to get Wembanyama. We're trying to win games because we have a team that's good enough to win." That's what these guys are saying to management. So if you're saying that, then you need to help them out by giving them what they need. That is somebody who can coach them, because when you look at Golden State Warriors, they were winning with Mark Jackson as their head coach, but he just wasn't the guy to get them where they needed to go. So what did they do? Bring in Steve Kerr. Did they pay him a lot of money? No, they didn't have to pay him a lot of money. They brought him in. All of a sudden, boom, he takes the team over, or they've got him in there, elevate him, take the team over, bam, look where they go. Now they had to pay him, but who cares? You're winning. You got a brand new facility. You're winning a bunch of games. Who cares how much you're paying the coach because you're winning? Which is what I believe the Thunder are at that crossroads. Now, that being said, the Thunder are at one specific point. You can't really do a whole lot this year because you don't know what Chet brings. But next year is the nut-cutting time for the Thunder. Now, I believe that you switch coaches at the end of this year. But if you don't, then you have Chet coming in. After that, that is year 2 for SGA's contract. This is the first year. So it'll be the second year of his contract kicking in. This will be the third year for him and Josh to play together in Dort. So then all of a sudden you bring in Chet. What are you going to do at that point? Okay? Because Chet is either going to be what we need to get over to the next level, or he's not. I don't believe he is, but I hope that I'm wrong. And if you know me, you know, hey, I have no problem saying I'm wrong. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I was wrong about Poku. And, and I admit that. So anyway, the Thunder at 5:57 is 50 to 54. We bring in SG off the bench. Okay? So now all of a sudden, I'm sitting there looking, and it's like, we're setting a screen, and I've got this note in here that says, Kendricks Williams, why are you using your hands to set a screen? Now, from the time you're little, you are taught to set a screen to put your hands by your privates so that you don't get kicked or hit coming through. You're not taught to push off. And he does that almost every time. Dude, set the damn screen and worry about getting the ball later. Anyway, that costs us right there. So, anyway, it's just frustrating. And so they just dominate us inside. But, of course, SGA goes 3 for 3 on three-pointers the old-fashioned way, which means what? And one. So we had 3 consecutive and ones to push us up to a nice lead, okay? Then all of a sudden, here comes J-Dub again. This is part of it. He takes Dort out the game. He's got 2 fouls. And then there's 50 seconds left. We're up. Puts Dort back in. And I'm like, why are you putting Dort back in the game? You've already taken him out. You're not trying to pick up a foul. What are you doing? And so then we shoot a couple free throws, come back. He puts him right back in. What does he do? Foul Trey immediately. Picks up his 3rd foul. Trey knocks down the basket. Comes back down. We kick it to J-Dub. J-Dub travels. Come back down. We foul Trey again. All of a sudden, 77-77. Just like that. It's like, okay, one, keep him on the bench. I mean, I understand you're trying to put him in there for defense, but why is he off the bench in the first place? If there's 50 seconds left, you're going to bring about offense, defense, keep him on the bench. At that point, why pick up another foul? All he did was come back in the game, pick up a foul immediately. Trey attacked him immediately because he just came out. He's not back in the flow of the game. Boom, let me attack him. Trey's very smart at that. You don't become an all-star without being smart. Trey attacks him immediately. Comes back in. The first thing you do, instead of throwing it to SJ, you throw it to J-Dub. They come across. You catch it. The guy comes under you. You put the ball on the ground. You don't take steps. He takes steps, turn the ball over, turn around, fouls it right away. All of a sudden, it's 77-77. Just like that. But what did we see? A hell of a shootout that was happening between SGA and Trey. At that point, SGA had 26. Trey had 22. What a hell of a game it was at that point. I was all excited. We had to go back to gastropub to have a couple of cocktails. I had beer, of course. I only have a few beers when I'm doing the show. I cannot do my normal cocktail hour and have a bunch of drinks, which I normally would do back in the day. Anyway, 77-77 at half. The Hawks are now 5 for 17 from three, 58% field goal percentage, 22 ribbies, 36 pips, 6 turnovers. Oklahoma City on the other side are 11 for 20 from three, 56%, 18 rebounds, and 34 points in the paint. You can see that they just start attacking us. And like I said, keeping Trey out of the lane was my goal, but that did not happen for the Thunder. So, but when you look at bench scoring, the Thunder were up 22-11, and that had to do with everybody. That was Mann, that was Isaiah Joe, that was Wiggins getting his little part and doing what we had to do. So I liked what I saw from the Thunder up at half. But at that point, it's 77-77. I didn't even talk. 77 all. 77-77. I don't even know what the hell I was saying right there. I don't think y'all understood what the hell I was saying either. So, but anyway, 77-77 at that point. So, that being said, we're at halftime, so we're going to do what we always do and take a quick break and thank our sponsors, Collaborative Logic. I appreciate everything they've done, helping us with the Skype, getting us what we needed to be as far as so you guys can call in on Skype or send me a text if you need to. And remember, that number is 405-551-8300 if you have any texts and ask any questions about the game tonight. SRB, if you have any engineering or surveying, my guy Mark Long is the dude to talk to there. Oak Grove Trucking and my guy Jose Fierro, that is my dude. He does everything that you need to do as far as rocks. Big, they're not rocks, they're boulders. That's what he does. He removes boulders and he removes a lot of dirt. Then Greg and Max Nafee doing what they always do to support me, and I appreciate those guys. Last but not least, YNB, family owned and operated since 1912. They are the bank that makes things happen. They're an equal housing lender, member of the FDIC, and also they are our sponsor for our remote broadcast to minority, women, and black-owned businesses in the Oklahoma City area. If you've got to pre-qualify online for any loans, please go ahead and do that for any personal or business at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. Or you can go in and see Joe Horn. You go in and see Nathan Taylor or Carson Wright. If you want to go in and see them personally, by all means, go do that as well. It's kind of up to you to do whatever you want to do. I think it's just easier if you just go ahead, pre-qualify online, walk in, meet them, talk about whatever, sign your name, take your check, or they can deposit it into your account if you have an account with them like I do. Makes things a lot easier. So, that being said, the Thunder start the third quarter, all things all even at 77 apiece. And you remember, this is a shootout between SGA and Trey. And SGA is 5th in scoring at 30.7, and Trey is 11th in scoring at 27 points a game. So it was just a great shootout. These guys are just going at each other. SGA finished early, and then Trey just finished late and closed it off to tie the score and took all the momentum away from the Thunder at the end of the first half. Starting the third quarter, you have SGA, Josh, Dort, J-Dub, and K-Will, Kendrick Williams, which, of course, is the starting five that you had at the beginning of the game, which I liked. And then what happens? The Thunder get off to a great start to start the third quarter. Loved what I said. We were very good in transition, getting out, doing everything that we needed to do. And I just was loving the chemistry and what was going on between that group of that five. And they lasted. They were rolling until the 3-minute and 45-second mark. The Thunder were up 97-94 at this point. And then he substituted Muscala and Isaiah Joe into the lineup. And at that point, they go on a 15-7 run to end the third. Now, I understand you've got a sub, and I understand, Josh is going to start the third quarter. I get that, or fourth quarter. So you got to get him some rest. But, man, that is a tough one, and maybe it's who you brought in. I don't know what it was, but the fact that you brought him in and they go on a 15-7 run to close out the third quarter. And once again, my issue with the Thunder is we do have some talent, but not enough to really match up physically and athletically against the Knicks or the Hawks. And especially when you got a great point guard like Trey Young, and then of course Delonte Murray just knocking down mid range after mid range after mid range. They're just a tough matchup for the Thunder, and as my guy Drew Hinthorn of Hustler Drew Pick said, he thinks they're going to be the fifth or sixth seed, but they're just a tough matchup for us because we just don't match up really well with them at all. And they just take it. Neither do we match up with any athletic teams like that because the simple fact we're just too tiny. So as I said many times, the two things we need to address, which I believe Sam Presti will, is we got to get shooters and we got to get bigger inside. Those are two things. We got to get more athletic because we're a great team, 6'4", 6'5" to 6'9", 6'8". We're stacked there, but we got to be 6'10", 6'11" in there. That's what we need to do so we can battle some of these teams. When we come off the bench, we got big guys who can battle them, who can rebound, who keep us from being out-rebounded in the paint to keep teams out of the game, which can get us to go to the next level, which is what the Thunder need to do. So at the end of the third, the Thunder, well, excuse me, this is the reverse. It should be Hawks 109, Thunder 104. Sorry about that. That's just wishful thinking on my part. But the Hawks had a 5-point lead, outscoring us 15-7 at that from 3:45 on. When the Thunder were up by 3, they just shut the door right there in our faces. Anyway, the Hawks were then at this point are 9 for 25 from 3, 58% from the field, with 34 rebounds, 54 points in the paint, 10 turnovers. Oklahoma City, on the other hand, 13 for 28, 51% from the field. We had dropped down quite a bit. Remember, we were at 60 at the beginning. 29 rebounds, 50 pips. Now, all of a sudden, remember, I told you that they would start checking. So you see that they're out-rebounding us and they're outscoring us in the paint. And I told you that was going to be a huge difference. And I think the closeout and what Trey did to us at the end of the first half gave them all the momentum going into the third. Even though we got off to a good start, they just shut us down. They went on that close. Those two ends of the second quarter into the third quarter. They just put us away, I believe, at that point. I was ready to go, but we had guys wanting to stay, and I did not drive. If I had driven myself, I would have already left because I knew pretty much the game was over at that point. The Thunder 13 for 28, 51%, like I said, 29 rebounds, 50 pips, only 8 turnovers, taking care of the basketball for sure. And then bench scoring, Thunder 27, the Hawks 16. So at this point, like I said, I was ready to go. I was out of there because I knew that after that run at the second quarter and close us out in the third quarter, that we were done. Even though I believe that we were going to come back, you can just know, you can see when there's certain runs, there's certain things that happen. Like at one time when I'm watching the Giants against the Cowboys, and the Cowboys were winning, and I'm sitting next to the Packers vice president at the game. And R.W. Quarters makes this, who was it? I forget. Tony Romo throws his perfect pass. I forget who it was. Dropped it for sure, touchdown, 90 whatever yards. He drops it. Then you turn around, you punt. R.W. Quarters, Oklahoma State boy, TW grad, drives, comes back, punt return. They go down and score. The guy, this is like, I want to say, probably 7-8 minutes left in the third quarter. He looked at me, he goes, "Hey, nice to meet you, see you later," and left. I was like, "What?" He goes, "This game's over." And he gets on his phone and calls the Packer office and go, "Hey, get the tickets ready, print them." And that's exactly what happens. You can kind of tell when things are going to happen. So started the fourth quarter, you have Josh, Trey Mann, J-Dub, Muscala, and Jang. Once again, I'm like, this kid, I like him, but once three first-round picks for this guy, I just don't. He's got potential. He is definitely a project, but I don't understand the pick. I just, one of these days I need to sit down with Sam and go, dude, please explain that to me. He's a project. You gave up 3 picks for a project. I just, these European guys are just not it. And I know we're banking on somebody hopefully being a Luka or somebody like that, but they're just few and far in between. So what happens at the beginning of the fourth quarter with that group? The Hawks go on an 8-0 run to start out, bam. So all of a sudden it's 104 to 117. Now all of a sudden you've got Josh, Jang, Baisley, K. Will, and Wiggins to offset that. And I'm just going, whoa. So didn't work. So with 6 minutes to go, a little over 6 minutes to go, it's 113, 124. SGA comes to the table. And I look over, I look at Mark, I go, look. Immediately when he saw SGA, what did he do? Boop, here comes Trey. We don't do that. When they put their best player in the game because a run needs to be made, we keep our best player on the bench. And I have been talking to Mark about that. Mark Long of SRB. He was sitting there and he goes, wow, you're right. I go, yeah, I keep trying to tell you that. Look, and this was in reverse. And I told him, I said, when we put SGA in, that's what they do. And there's a reason why they call him the nickname, the minutes manager, our coach, because that's what he is. He's a manager of minutes. But he put SGA in the game, and Nate didn't even hesitate. Boom, Trey, let's go. But we don't do that. Because Trey, we don't want to put SGA in until about 5 minutes to go. Now, I'm just going, wow. That is the point I've been trying to make all year about what he does and the frustration I have with Coach D and what he does. It's just frustrating to me. And Mark looked at me and he goes, wow, you were right. I go, I know, I keep trying to tell everybody. But until you see it for yourself, which happened tonight, he was like, wow. I'm like, yeah, I told you. It's frustrating to me. It's the little things that make a difference in whether we win or lose. And like I said, he costs us 6 to 8 points every game because of little things that he does, lineups, decisions as far as when he subs. It costs us. It just does. Anyway, SGA comes in and makes an immediate impact. All of a sudden, it's 132, 133. Great steal, by the way, by J-Dub and Trey, against Trey at half court to put it to 132, 133. And everybody forgets that we had Baisley in the game earlier, and he missed the free throw on an and one. Makes the free throw, all of a sudden that steal is 133, 133, changes the outcome of the game. Now, I'm not saying he costs us the game because that would be ludicrous, okay? But at that point, it's the little things, like I said, the substitution with him, the little things like him, what he was doing as far as, I think there's somebody, the little things like with him doing what he was doing as far as subbing. It's the little things. Nate said, no, you're putting SJ in the game, we're putting Trey in the game. We're not going to let you get any momentum on us. We're not you. That's what you do as the Thunder. We don't do that. But anyway, we could not close it out, could not do what we needed to do. So the Thunder end up falling to the Hawks, 137 to 132. The Thunder now falling to 23 and 25. The Hawks 25 and 24, improving too. The three-point percentage, the Hawks 11 for 29, 59% from the field, 46 ribbies, 64 points in the paint, 16 turnovers. Thunder, on the other hand, 15 for 34. When you shoot that good, you should be able to win a basketball game from three. 52% from the field, 37 ribbies, 72 pips, 11 TOs. Hawks 26 bench points, Oklahoma City 35. And then, of course, you know my favorite thing to do is first half, second half comparison. You can see where the Hawks were 5 for 17, 11 for 29. So they went 6 for 12 in the second half. And a lot of it was late, just wide open looks because Trey was attacking the basket and giving them open looks. We just could not do that. The Thunder, on the other hand, were 4 for 14 the second half because we started rushing our shots, weren't making the wide open looks like we were kicking the ball around, knocking down the wide open shots when we had them. Difference in the ball game. The Thunder were at 56%, dropped to 52%. They were at 59, 58% the first half. They went up to 59. We dropped to 52. Rebounds, they were up 4, and they ended up finishing at 9. 5 rebound advantage there. And then points in the paint, they were up 2, and we ended up winning by 8. So that's a 6-point turnaround right there. But at the same time, you got to fix that. Turnovers, we had one more turnover they did at half. They ended up with 5 more turnovers, which is how we got back into the game, stealing the ball, getting them to turn the ball over. Bench scoring, we were up 11 at half. It ended up finishing at 9. And then when you look at the box score, this is where we ended up. J-Dub, 24 points, 11 for 16, but a couple of bonehead plays to end the first quarter and the second quarter, which I believe cost us some momentum at the end of the second quarter going into halftime. 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Kendricks Williams, 11 points, 4 for 10, not bad. 1 for 6 from 3. Got to be able to knock down those wide open looks. He had wide open look after wide open look. You've got to be able to stroke those. 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Great night by him, except from the 3-point line. SGA, another tremendous tonight. 13 for 22. I think he was 13 for 23 the other night in the victory. 1 for 1 for 3. He does not shoot threes unless it's there. 5 rebounds, 7 assists, but that 4 turnovers was huge. Got to take care of the basketball, SGA. Josh Giddey, 16 points, 8 rebounds. He was 8 for 19. God, he missed a lot of easy shots that he's got to make, and he normally does. It was one of those things, sometimes the ball just does not go in the basket. But anyway, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Love his development. Lucas Dort, 16 points, 4 for 10, 3 for 6 from 3. Had a good night, as long as he's just not trying to do a heat check. And right there at the deal, he does really well with only 3 rebounds and 4 assists. 2 turnovers, not bad. Baisley, 4 points, 2 for 3 from the field. Zeros, donuts, no rebounds, no turnovers, no assists, no blocks. You're 6'10". I gotta have at least 1 rebound out of you. At least 1 rebound, please. Jang, 5 points, 2. He was 1 for 2 from both. I don't know why I screwed that up. But he went 1 for 3 from 3. And he's got a 1 for 2 from 3. He knocked down a nice shot. And then, of course, he knocked down a shot. So he was 2 for 3 is what that was. That's what it should have been, not 2 for 0. 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Muscala, 6 points, 2 for 4 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3. No rebounds. And remember, he came into the game right there in the second quarter, cost us immediately on a rebound. I was like, bro, he kills me on boxing out for free throws. We got beat by the Bulls last year. Same type thing. He gets in the game, he cannot buy. He's just not physically strong enough. He's a shooter. That's what he does. He's not there for defense and rebounding. That is just not what he does. Clearly, he had 0 rebounds at 7 foot or 6'11", whatever he is. Trey Mann, 2 points, 1 for 4. Horrible 3-point shot that he took from damn near the logo. It's like, bro, what are you doing? And that's part of Trey's problem. But once again, he's just mentally screwed up, I think, right now. I don't know what the Thunder need to do to get that man mentally right, but we need to get him back into playing. 1 for 4, 0 for 2 from 3, 1 rebound, 2 assists. Isaiah Joe, 9 points, 3 for 7, 3 for 7. And the people in Philly are mad that we got him. I'm very happy that we got Isaiah Joe. And if you guys have been following me, you know how excited I was about getting Isaiah Joe when we got him. Love that. Of course, Wiggins, one of my favorite guys. I don't know why he does not play more, but it is not my call. 9 points, 3 for 4, 3 for 4, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. He can defend. I don't understand how you play Baisley and Jang in front of him. I just don't understand. I really don't. I mean, but once again, I'm not at practice. So when you're not at practice, you really can't say what's really going on because you're not at practice. So you don't know how somebody's practicing against somebody else. You don't know how somebody's doing this, somebody's doing that. So it's kind of hard for you or for me to sit there and judge why somebody's not playing because I'm not at practice. Clearly, there's a reason why he's not playing. But on the other side of that, we're 7-0 with him playing, starting. Don't understand it. So that being said, I want to thank everybody for watching this edition of After the Storm. We will be Coming back Friday night, of course, Friday night we have the Cavaliers at home Friday night. And then, of course, Monday the Golden State Warriors come into Paycom Arena. So hopefully we can get something done. I want to hopefully get it turned back into Thunderdome when it was just rocking. In fact, it was a nice crowd tonight. And I was commenting to the commander, Randy Wright of Y&B, about it tonight, that you could see all the people, that club level starting to fill up a little bit more. And all the people back upstairs are doing what they can do upstairs in Loud City. So that being said, I'm hoping everybody has a fantastic night. You guys be safe out there. If you're out and about having cocktails, be safe and get home safely. Hope everything's good. And then remember, tomorrow afternoon we'll be doing the unpopular hour, which we will be, kind of talking more about what happened tonight, adding on to it. So that being said, everybody peace out.